I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. I, Douglas Ducote, an American patriot by the grace of God, do solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America from enemies foreign and especially domestic. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hello, American Patriots, and welcome to another episode of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places you could be tonight, but you chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. What a wonderful day in America it is. Now, I know that many of you are thinking, wait a minute, this isn't over with, Doug. How can we be so happy? How can we be so joyous? Both House and the Senate are a toss-up, depending on who you want to listen to. CNN and MSNBC are painting this, where was the red wave? It didn't happen. They're blaming everything on Trump, because Trump got involved. The Republicans aren't going to win this. It goes on and on and on. Even Fox News is gloomy to listen to. What just happened there? Okay, if you stay right there, hold on one second. That works. So I thought I would start the show off with explaining to you why I'm happy about the results of last night. First, let me say this. I've said all along that at a minimum, Republicans have to get the House back. That was my goal. If we got the Senate, icing on the cake. But at a minimum, we had to get the House. And I've got no doubt in my mind, unless something drastically happens overnight, that we have the House locked up. Now, let's break it down for you real quick. Right now, currently, the Democrats have 201 seats that are solid blue for the House. Republicans have 211 seats that are solid red. So, where can this be picked up at? All right, well, let's look at that. Right now, as I came on the air, Montana District 1 is at 99% reporting, which means that by midnight tonight, it should be 100%. And the Republican there, Zink, is up 120,285 to his Democrat competitor at 112,271. So that gives us from 211 to 212. Arizona District 2 is at 87% reporting at the moment. The Republican there is up 148,564 votes, and the Democrat is up 126,377. That brings us to 213. Texas District 15 is 89% reporting. The Republican is at 80,869 votes. The Democrats at 67,913 votes. That brings us to 214. Wisconsin District 3 is at 96% reporting right now. The Republican is at 164,661 votes. The Democrats at 152,939. That brings us to 215. New York District 22 is 94% reporting at the moment. The Republican is at 132,762. And it just fell again, and we're going to leave it there. And the Democrat is 128,837. That would bring us to 216. New York District 17 is at 98% reporting. The Republican is at 140,883, and the Democrats is 137,633. That brings us to 17, and that's a little close, but it's still 98% reporting. But there's cushion built into this, trust me. New Jersey District 7 is at 99% reporting. The Republican is at 153,541, and the Democrats at 139,813. That would give us 218. Now, and that controls the House. Here's our cushion. Pennsylvania District 1 is at 99% reporting. Now, let's just say, let's go back and take away New York District 17 because it's close. It's 140,883 to 137,633. Let's take that out of play and say we're still down at 218 after New York District 7. The Pennsylvania District 1 at 99% reporting. The Republicans at 199,282 and the Democrats at 162,921. There's your 218. There's your cushion. Moving on, there's additional cushion. Iowa District 3 is at 91% reporting. The Republicans at 156,239. The Democrats at 154,084. So if all of those do turn red, which I believe they will, that gives us 220 seats in the House of Representatives. Now, what's the Democrats' chances? As I told you, the Democrats are at 201 solid blue seats. What do they have left? Illinois District 13 is probably going to turn blue. That gives them 202. New Mexico District 2 is probably going to turn blue. That gives them 203. New York District 13, looking like it's turning blue. That gives them 204. North Carolina District 14, turning blue, is going to give them 205. 205, which means somehow they've got to take some of these seats away from Republicans that are in the 87 to 99% reporting in favor of the Republican has to materialize out of fucking nowhere, and they have to take away a shit ton of them. That would be some massive cheating. Now, aside from that happening, or a freaking asteroid hitting the Earth, Republicans will control the House of Representatives. And these unbelievable criminal leaders in positions across this country, for instance, at the FBI and the Department of Justice, will be investigated. Hunter Biden and his daddy, Joe Brandon, will be investigated for all the crap that happened with Hunter's laptop and the China deals and the Ukraine deals. All that is going to go in front of House committees. The January 6th committee, well, it's already dead on arrival. We'll just be shut down because that was already a waste of our freaking time and a bunch of bullshit. Not saying that it shouldn't have happened, because it shouldn't have happened. But regardless, they tried to put this all on Donald Trump in hopes that they could get him put away and locked up. It ain't going to happen on January 6th and their stupid ass committee that amounted to absolutely nothing. So that's why I'm happy tonight. I told you last night at the end of the show, listen, hang in there. Every vote counts. Let's let them do their process. Now, why their process is taking so long beats the hell out of me. Before we had technology, before we had cell phones and computers and electronic voting machines, and we're just doing paper ballots, somehow, and I'm 60 years old, okay? So I was voting way before all this electronic shit came into play. Somehow, before we went to bed at night, we knew who won. But now we've got areas of the country that had polls, for instance, on the East Coast that closed at 8 o'clock last night. And here we are, and they're still 24 hours later counting ballots in little bitty districts. So here's a shout out to my Republicans that are going to be taking over the House. Go investigate that and find out why they can't get their act together. And go down to Arizona and do the same thing, and Nevada and do the same thing. All these, everybody that's still outstanding after 12 hours past midnight last night, that needs to be looked into. Something's not right there. You want the American voters to feel confident in the process? Then damn it, get to the bottom of it. Because this doesn't take rocket scientists, but yet, obviously, it takes rocket scientists because we've got areas of the country that can't figure the fuck out how to get out of a wet paper bag if they had to. This is crazy. It shouldn't be this way. And it needs to change. Moving on. I kept hearing all last night and again today, whatever happened to the red wave that we said was going to happen? That's being asked by the left, the Democrats, CNN, MSNBC, the liberals, even some Republicans, along with Fox News. There was no red wave. There was no red wave. Well, I assure you, it was there on election night. Yes, the Democrats maintain in select cities, but America, regardless of the numbers, the House or the Senate, is red, and that is a fact that is indisputable. Now, let's take a look. I learned how to do something new today, and I hope it will work. We're going to give it a shot here real quick and see if it works. There it is. There is your red wave with a few blue areas. Bam. Stick a fork in it, Democrats. The country is red. I pledge allegiance. Now, there are still 4 Senate races yet to be called following the midterm elections, including Arizona, Nevada, Alaska, and Georgia. But the time frame in which we could find out the results varies by each state. Arizona and Nevada are continuing to count mail-in ballots, while Alaska will likely remain in Republican hands as votes move through the state's ranked choice voting system. The race for Georgia's Senate seat, however, as we know, is going to be a runoff because neither one got above 50%. And that's going to be in December. Per Arizona election law, mail-in ballots had to be received by county election officials by 7 p.m. local time on election night. That, I think, needs to change, but that's on my personal opinion. However, each of the ballots must go through a signature verification process before actually being counted. Election results amplified by Maricopa County being one of the nation's largest voting jurisdictions with hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots returned. It could take days for all ballots in the state to be processed and counted, meaning that a close race between Republican Blake Masters and the incumbent Democrat Senator Mark Kelly might not be called until the last batch ends up being processed. In Nevada, mail-in ballots must be postmarked by Election Day, but can arrive as late as Saturday to be counted. Election officials have been flooded with thousands of them since Tuesday, as the margin between incumbent Democrat Senator Catherine Cortez Masto and Republican Adam Laxton remains tight. Officials in Clark County, Nevada, most populous county, have said that Tuesday, November 15th, is the deadline to verify the mail-in ballots, while November 17th is the latest date they will release the final results. In Alaska, incumbent Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski and Republican Kelly Tsutseba are the 2 frontrunners in the race, with each surging large enough margins that it's likely any other candidate would top either as votes are relocated in the second round of the state's ranking choice voting system. The only question is which one of them will come out. They're both Republicans, so it really doesn't matter. It's a locked up Senate seat because they're both Republicans. The winner of the race will likely be determined during the second vote tabulation, which is scheduled for November 23rd. In Georgia, since no candidate reached the required 50% of the vote threshold, the two candidates, Republican Herschel Walker and incumbent Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock, will head to a runoff scheduled for December 6th. Early voting will begin the state after Thanksgiving, but the exact start date depends on the counties. All counties must begin early voting by November 28th. Democrats and Republicans currently split the 100-seat Senate at 50 seats each, with Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote giving her party the narrowest possible majority. Since Alaska is all but guaranteed to stay red, Republicans will have to pick up at least two of the three still outstanding races to reach the majority and take control of the Senate. And that, my friends, is very, very possible. It is not out of the question at all. Getting off of election for a little bit, let's talk about national security, shall we? And this is typical Democrat right here. That's what this story is. It is, we see something happening that may expose us for the hypocrites we are, so we need to investigate it. And we've got our brothers at the Department of Justice and the FBI in our freaking pocket, and they're our branch. So let's go after them and find out what they're up to. Yeah, crooked bullshit. Joe Biden said the national security is at risk because of Elon Musk's foreign business deals, and they're worth being looked at. Biden suggested during the press conference Wednesday that the entrepreneur's foreign sources of capital, including nearly $2 billion from a Saudi prince from his recent Twitter takeover, could pose a threat to national security, CBS News reported. I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and our technical relationship with other countries is worthy of being looked at, Biden said. Whether or not he's done anything inappropriate, I'm not saying that, but it's worth looking at, he said. Guess what, you stupid son of a bitch? No, it's not worth looking at, because you have to have a crime and reasonable suspicion for them to go look at anything. Law 101, maybe you should fucking Google it and look it up, you senile bastard. He said there are lots of ways to review the foreign investments. According to the Washington Post, Musk paid much of the cost of Twitter himself after selling part of his stake in his electric vehicle company, Tesla. But large investors, including from abroad, also came in with more than $13 billion, according to Reuters. Foreign investors, including a Saudi billionaire prince, owner of a Saudi holding company, who gave $1.89 million, Reuters reported. Another was a Qatar holding an investment firm founded by the Gulf States Sovereignty Wealth Fund, which gave $337 million. Musk was also recently accused of being a mouthpiece for Russian President Vladimir Putin. And Tesla's business is heavily dependent on the Chinese government's goodwill, as reported by the Lion Washington Post. Oh, couldn't make this shit up if you tried, my friends. Just could not make it up if you tried. Biden's remarks support previous reports that his administration was looking for ways to put the controversial billionaire's ventures under national security review. One way to do that is through the Committee of Foreign Investment in the United States, which has the authority to undo completed deals that pose national security threats. Like, let's see, TikTok, Biden, that you're still helping to promote with people coming into the White House to do TikTok videos. It's already been proven that China is responsible and behind spying shit that's going on with TikTok, but yet we're still letting them do it. And we're letting our clueless little freaking kids run around doing TikTok videos. Oh, geez.
A recent report from the Brookings Institution think tank concluded that Biden would have strong grounds for blocking Musk's Twitter purchase, or at the very least, compelling the minority foreign investors to sell their equity to parties that would not pose a national security threat. Now, all that's being said, speaking of national security threats, your son, Hunter Biden, comes to mind, as does you leaving billions of dollars worth of our military equipment in Afghanistan to fall into the hands of our enemy called the Taliban. And Republicans are on record saying when they take back the House, they're going to investigate your little drug smuggling, smoking, crack, meth head, fucking loser son and the business dealings he had with you that you claim you don't know nothing about, but the emails prove differently that were found in the laptop, as well as Hunter Biden's buddies that used to be part of the firm that were putting all these deals together to make billions of dollars, guess what? Are now whistleblowers saying that you, Joe, knew all about what was going on and you were referred to in the emails as the big guy. You said you attended none of the meetings, you were not part of it, you knew nothing about it, but yet the whistleblower said you did. And they actually shared photographs of you meeting with them. And the FBI and the Department of Justice have done absolutely nothing. So, that's all about to change. Speaking of things that should have changed, but you can't help it, New York. You're just a bunch of fucking idiots up there. Not all of you. Let me back up. I've got some friends in New York that aren't idiots. But the ones that voted for AOC, good God. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat in New York, AOC, one each, received harsh backlash after she downplayed New York City's crime crisis and appeared to blame police officers for crime on subways. The panelists on Outnumbered criticized the liberal congresswoman for her patently false claims after she easily won re-election for a third House term Tuesday. The squad member joined the Breakfast Club radio show on Tuesday as America's headed to the poll to vote on issues like crime. She claimed that shootings and major indicator of violent crime are both down in New York City. A lot of people think crime is up when we actually see that shootings are down. When we see that huge indicators on the most violent crime in New York City is down, AOC said. Subway crime is up. Let's also note that subway crime is up after they committed to more officers on the subway system. So that also tells us from a policy perspective, adding more cops to the subway isn't solving the problem. She added, Outnumbered co-host Emily Campego said AOC's remarks were hard to stomach. It's absolutely false for her to be saying that police presence does not deter crime and to blame violent attacks or rise in crime on New York City's finest. She said Thursday. Kennedy, host of Kennedy on Fox Business, explained that the rise in crime is the reason for additional police presence. She's delusional, Kennedy said. She's flat out wrong. If she believes it is, she's not fit to serve. Co-host McKinney called on New Yorkers to wake up to the problems that are pervasive under the state's continuing Democratic leadership. McKinney noted that Democrats have been winning the governor's seats by a narrow margin since 2018, with Governor Hutchin winning only 5 points in this year's midterms over Lee Zeldin. So there was a significant reconsideration here in New York that sometimes is airy, she said. Everyone's going to Florida, she continued. They're going to Florida for a reason because these politics here don't work. They're moving out of our state because they're sick of the crime. Went on to suggest that AOC may eventually face a recall over her outlandish claim that mirror what's said by former San Francisco DHS Bolden. Bolden was also ousted in July after taking office in 2020. We thought we would see that this week with AOC, but perhaps we'll see it the next time, she said. Crime on New York City's transit system is up 40.8% this year, according to New York PD data, which is slightly ahead of the 29.6 jump in overall crime throughout the entire freaking state. What would possess you people to vote for that absolute? I'm sure she wasn't even good at making drinks when she was a bartender. I'm sure she fucked that up just as well as she's fucking up everything in New York. So be it. This next story should piss you off. But for people that voted in Montana, I guess it's not going to piss you off. But it's very disheartening. Montana voters rejected Tuesday on the ballot, they had on the ballot the Born Alive Infant Protection Act that would have required medical professionals to perform life-saving medical care on infants who survived abortions or were born prematurely. The pro-life measure would not have prevented Montana residents from receiving abortions, but would have required medical care to be provided to infants that were born alive. As a result of the natural or induced labor, failed abortions, or a C-section, the measure failed by around 20,000 votes, with 52.6% voting against it and 47.4% in favor of its passage at the time the Associated Press called the race Tuesday. A healthcare provider performing an abortion shall take all medical, appropriate, and reasonable steps to preserve the life and health of a born alive infant who is viable. If an abortion performed in a hospital results in a live birth or of a viable infant, the healthcare provider shall provide immediate medical care to the infant, the ballot measure stated. The pro-life legislation acknowledged that an infant born alive after an attempted abortion is a legal person and would have granted them rights to medical care after birth. If an abortion results in a live birth of an infant, the infant is a legal person for all purposes under the laws of this state, it said, and the laws of every damn state. The law also sought to penalize doctors if they failed to treat infants as living persons and take the required necessary action to preserve the life of a born alive infant. The bill recognized evidence of life as an infant who breathes, has a beating heart, and definite movement of voluntary muscles. Without proper legal protection, newly born infants who have survived abortions will be denied appropriate life-saving or life-sustaining medical care and treatment and have been left to die in the past, and they will be left to die again, the bill reads. As with all ballot initiatives across the country, pro-abortion forces vastly outspent pro-life forces to drive dishonest messages to confuse voters. The president of SBA Pro-Life America told Fox News Digital, in Montana, pro-abortion forces ran TV ads characterizing the initiative as an extreme, harmful government intrusion into medical care, when all the initiative would do is provide the same level of care to an infant who survived an abortion as you would to an infant born early in pregnancy. So Montana voters just gave doctors a license to murder children. That's what they did. We're talking about a botched abortion or a premature birth, is it breathing on its own? Yes. Does it have a heartbeat? Yes, or it wouldn't be breathing on its own. Can it move its extremities? Yes. Oh, the woman doesn't want it. She wanted abortion. You screwed that up. Now you can go ahead and kill it. That is where we're at in America today. That is some sick shit. I don't care how you put it. It's disgusting. It's freaking criminal as far as I'm concerned. And any doctor who willingly takes the life of a baby because it survived the botched attempt and can live and go on to become a normal human being, and now you have the right to do whatever you need to do to end it, that's fucked up. That's like shit out of a horror movie. I mean, am I wrong? An interesting turn of events have just taken place. And I actually expected to see Hillary Clinton's name somewhere in this, but it wasn't. Lawyers for Oath Keepers founder Stewart Rhodes have called an FBI informant to testify as a witness in Rhodes' defense against charges of seditious conspiracy in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. Lawyers said that the FBI informant was on his way to the trial when he suffered a heart attack. Greg McWether, who served as the Oath Keepers vice president while informing on the group for the FBI, was set to testify as defense witness in Rhodes' case on Tuesday, and New York Times reported. At an improv meeting on Tuesday, Rhodes' attorney said he had boarded a plane to come testify for the trial, but had to be taken off and hospitalized after suffering a heart attack. According to the New York Times, McWether is the second FBI confidential source that they are aware of that was in position to pass information about the Oath Keepers' activity on January 6th to federal authorities. Rhodes' defense team made an unusual move to call him to testify as a defense witness after federal prosecutors rested their case last week without calling him and several other cooperating witnesses to testify against Rhodes. McWether, 40, previously worked as a sheriff's deputy in Montana. He boarded a plane on Tuesday to come to federal court in Washington, D.C., where Rhodes is being tried, but lawyers said he was taken off the plane after the heart attack. Due to the medical emergency episode, the FBI informant was unable to testify. Rhodes' defense still wants him to testify when he recovers. At the end of the court proceedings on Tuesday, presiding judge Amit P. Mith, M-E-H-T-A, said the court may be able to accommodate him to testify remotely or by video call. Rhodes also testified in his own defense on Monday. In court on Monday, Rhodes said that he was at a hotel room in Virginia when demonstrators entered the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. He further testified that he never planned for Oath Keepers to enter the Capitol that day for any reason. Rhodes said his primary focus that day was on encouraging then President Donald Trump to invoke the Insurrection Act and use other legal means to contest the 2020 election results, rather than disrupting Congress process that day to certify the election results. Rhodes characterized Oath Keepers entering the Capitol that day as counterproductive and said they went off mission. After prosecutors had argued in their case that Rhodes didn't discourage the Rioters Act that day and went to the Capitol, Rhodes countered during his testimony by saying that he only went to the Capitol later that day to rally his followers to leave the area. During his testimony, Rhodes also pushed back against the allegations. He had also so-called quick reaction force waiting in Virginia and ready to bring weapons to Washington, D.C. The Oath Keepers founder said he was not in command of this quick reaction force, that he had delegated away most of his oversight of the Oath Keepers' activities that day, and that he warned members of the group to be careful about what they brought to D.C. Considering the city's strict gun laws, it is unclear if or how this quick reactionary force ever became involved in the events of January 6, 2021, because they never deployed there. Wow. I'm going to jump over here to the comments real quick and see if I can add a few things, some things that maybe people are wondering about or asking about. Let's see what we got right here. Tony Bradshaw said in North Korea, they say that they will never eat the grass. Just a point of view. Yep, I get that. Understand it very well. Pam says, man, can't we make these people go away, send them thousands of miles away in the sky? I wish, Pam. It's difficult to do, though, isn't it? Papa Willie, abort Democrats. Yeah. John, Clinton body count grows. Appears that way, doesn't it? Our own Doc, Clinton Hitman Squad, got him. Ben, I think children should have the right to abort their parents. I agree. It's pretty freaking crazy, isn't it? Leatherneck. Happy Veterans Day, Doug. Happy Veterans Day to you. Tomorrow's Veterans Day, my friends. And if by the name Leatherneck, I assume maybe you served in the U.S. Marine Corps. And if so, thank you for your service, brother. Who are Brother Douglas? Thank you for your service. I see your picture there in your uniform. John, de facto civil war. Let's see what we got here. MD, I heard that Russia is preparing for a nuclear war because of that corrupt Biden administration. Well, look, he's already threatened it many, many times. He's still got that threat going. It's some pretty scary shit. Trust me. Ben, White Sands missile range. Not sure what they mean by that, but I know all about White Sands. I've been there. The 45 guy, 1776. Did you see Tucker's interview with that shrunk Beto? I did not, but I will probably watch that tonight. Had lots of shit I had to get accomplished yesterday and last night and today. James Seed says, if we take the House, who do we want as Speaker? Wow, that is a great, great question. My wife just said Scalise wants it. I understand that. I think John Kennedy would be a great person to put there because he's very witty and very capable of putting people in their freaking place. We'll see. Tim says, I'm not afraid of combat. These pansies need to hurry up. We're trying to get things squared away without having to do that. Rodney, I'm staying on lockdown here on the ranch in Georgia. Come on out, man. Look for the Bigfoots. Sasquatch for speaker. Yep. And Leatherneck says, I'm a disabled Marine, Desert Shield, and Storm veteran. Brother, I was in Desert Shield and Desert Storm too, and thank you for your service. Very much appreciated. Anyhow, I will leave that for the time being and tell you this. Let me go back and take that down real quick if I can figure out where the hell it went to. Oh, there it is. Okay, go back to me.
McCarthy wants to do it too.
Yeah, McCarthy wants to do it. There's a lot of people that don't want him to be in that position. I want somebody in that position that is capable of using their mouth and capable of giving back to the Democrats what they give to us. That's what I want. When Nancy Pelosi or AOC or Rashid Tlaib or any of these Democrats up there in the House or Senate start spewing shit, I want somebody that's able to go right back into their face. And that's the thing they hated about Trump the most. I mean, think about it. He shut them down to the point of they started accusing him of being this horrible, mean person. But he was just responding to the mean shit coming out of their mouth. So, look, that's what it takes. It takes somebody that's willing to get up there and say, wrong, and this is why you're wrong, and drive the point home. So, anyhow, that's, I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably have more on that as we, maybe next week, as we move forward.
Those are the only two people who put a bid in here so far.
That's the only two people who put a bid in was McCarthy and Scalise. I'd probably prefer Steve Scalise over McCarthy. Yeah, that's my running thought at the moment.
Trump backs McCarthy,
but who knows? I mean, we have no idea where this is going to end up going, or we just know that I'm 99.9% confident that we have the House. As I showed you in the beginning of tonight's show, there's no way for the Democrats to overcome that unless they pull some kind of bullshit trick. And maybe that's why this is taking so long. Maybe these polling areas are like, wait a minute, we're fixing to give this to a Republican. How can we delay this? And I mean, because shit happens.
Jim Jordan would be good.
Jim, I don't even know if he's even asked for it. Yeah. Anyhow, folks, you had plenty of places you could be tonight. I'm going to call it early tonight. I've got other things I've got to get accomplished today before my day is over with. And I thank you for being here. I thank you definitely for being here last night with me. We went on for 4 hours, and I was hyped up. I want to take a moment to recognize the people behind the scenes that you only see in the chats. Sherry Ann Ritter Scott, John Arthur Lawrence, Wayne Scott, Doc Strange, and my wife Marilyn for moderating this show. They do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, and they are excellent. They do exactly what I ask them to do, which is get rid of anybody that makes threats against life, limb, or property, terrorist type threats, or that are saying nasty or mean things about another person, especially those that were used to come in this chat room all the time and say horrible things about me or my special needs son. That kind of shit we don't need. I don't want it. They say, oh, you're taking away my freedom of speech. No, when you're calling my son, my special needs son, retarded, I'm sorry. You just lost your fucking First Amendment, your amendment rights as far as I'm concerned, because that's shit's inappropriate. And if you were in my front of me, I'd punch you in the fucking throat for doing it, because it's absolutely horrible. And it's my channel, and I've got the ability to stop you from saying that kind of shit. And I will, and I do. And for those that start talking about getting ropes out and hanging people and all that kind of crap, no, there's no room for that. Okay. And it's not a Republican thing to do. It's not a conservative thing to do. So my guess is these are far left liberals that just want to come in here and stir up shit in hopes that we won't catch it. And then they can turn around and report it to YouTube and hopefully get me shut down for not getting rid of those kind of comments. And we get them all the time. And this group of 5 people that we have that I just mentioned to you are doing an outstanding job of making sure that happens. And every now and then, yes, something to get through. Every now and then something will get taken off that I come back and catch later that shouldn't have been taken down. And I go back to the mods and I'll talk to them and I say, hey, look, this or that, we shouldn't have done, or there was no reason to take that down. We have a good open communication with each other, and that's what it's all about. And that's what helps make this show run very, very smoothly. Haven't done so, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out the other YouTube channel I have up called Charlie Hotel 47, where it's just going to be videos and pictures that I've taken in combat operations or been taken of me in combat operations, as well as museums, history-related American things that I've toured across the country and across the globe that I want to share with you, the American patriots, and hopefully you will share that with your kids. Because I want them to be able to see it. I wish everybody was as blessed as I am to be able to travel freely across the globe and see these things. Some of the things I saw, I wish you never had the opportunity to see because it was horrible. I'm not going to show you that stuff on that channel. I did a thing on the tragedies of war on the channel where I just showed you the recovered aircraft that were recovered after crashes and what's left of them, just to show you about how important it is for Memorial Day and remember these folks. But the blood and gut stuff is all removed, and that's not something that you will see or that will be passed on for your kids to see. But I want people to be reminded that war is hell, and there's consequences for war, and we should try every avenue that we possibly can to not go to war. But sometimes that's all that can happen when everything else has been tried and nothing else is working. Then sometimes you have to give war a chance. And sadly, that's just the way the freaking humanity works on planet Earth. And we as Americans have been under serious attack for way, way too long by many. And now it's happening right here inside the country. And we'll see. Things are changing, my friends. And hopefully with having the House back, which should happen soon, we're going to get to the bottom of this. And I know I've gotten personal promises from several Republicans that have won that said, Doug, we're not going to let you down. We are going to go after and investigate these crooked son of a bitches that have gotten away time and time again with committing crimes. When Republicans, they just go after, and hell, they don't even have a reason to go after them. They just go after them and take their shit. Okay? Don't even arrest them. The FBI goes in, raids their offices, takes their computers, takes their phones, in Trump's case, took his freaking medical records, for crying out loud. Photo albums. I mean, just it's insanity. And it's intimidation. And it's got to be stopped. And by us having the House, we can put a stop to this corruption. And so that's where I'm at with that. And I hope that it happens really, really soon. And I think by tomorrow, hopefully by tomorrow evening, it will be announced that Republicans have taken back control of the House. So anyhow, thank you so much. Also go to DouglasDucote.com. Check out the website. And as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving in the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families, and our country. May God bless the United States of America. Thank you all. God bless you. I'll put out something if it needs to be between now and next show on Tuesday. Other than that, have a great Friday tomorrow and a great weekend. I'll see you soon. God bless.